Hello, Shalom Aleichem. This is a nice sefer. This is an old sefer, Beis Dovid, the Perush al Mishnayos. Perush. This is from on the Mishnayos on the Mishnah. Perush show Muro Tzagadolim Gaonig Olam Harav Rabbeinu Avadya V'Rav Reb Yom Tov Zal Harav Reb HaChacham Shalem Arena Rabbeinu Reb David Chaim Karinaldi Chelik Sheni. This is the second section. The Amsterdam. This was printed in Amsterdam. This is a commentary on the Mishnayos, and here there are many different asgamos. That means there are a lot of approbations that say that this is a very worthy commentary. That it's according to the Torah, it's very reputable. This is Be'er Halimud Liyasodos. This is the fundamentals, B'derech Kitzara, in a small way, in a short way. Lahavin Masnisa in the Mishnah. The Klayim Ve'erevin. These are various illustrations to teach us about Klayim. That means that forbidden mixtures in crops. There are certain mixtures one shouldn't, according to the Torah, that one should not, when one is planting, one shouldn't have one mixture with the other. So these are various diagrams, most probably of the fields, that let's say if one has the mixture, one type of fruit here, one is not able to have it, a different fruit, anywhere near it, presumably. These are various illustrations. So in other words, when is the possibility that one can plant the other fruit or the other crop? It would be maybe, I'm just giving an educated guess. Let's say you have it over here, so this might be the possibility where you can plant the other fruit, so it would not be a mixture. Kalayim. This is Kalayim and Erevin. Oh, Erevin has to do with where one is able to go on Shabbos, on Eruv. On Eruv is, anyway. This look at the way it's very, everything is calculated to such a degree. Look at this. Very interesting. These are very interesting illustrations. The Mishnah Perek Beis the Rosh Hashanah. Perek Beis, the second chapter of Rosh Hashanah. The Be'er Pa'amim Ba'arucha. So look at this. This is interesting. Very sophisticated illustrations. This is the end of Masechet Bikurim. Here are various calculations. Erevin. Makom Mechitza. That's the place of the Mechitza. This is from Erevin. Mechitza means a curtain. A curtain, or it doesn't mean necessarily a curtain, it means a place where there's a separation. This is Pesachim. That's from the Masechet Pesachim. This has to do with whether one is able to, a Kohen is able to be mevayer the chametz, to nullify, to get rid of the chametz. Divrei hamaskil truma. A Kohen is not able to give it to people that are not Kohanim, like a Levi or Yisrael. Below the behema, one cannot. The Kohen is not able to give the chametz to a behema. Mashma the behema dumya dezarim. So it seems like a behema in this halacha has the same din of somebody that is not a Kohen. When it says Zor, it means someone that is not a Kohen. Ma lezorim b'chol inyan asur af lebehema b'chol inyan asur. Just like somebody, the one is not able to give it to, the one is not able to give truma, or this might be the truma. We're talking about truma. You see, Divrei Maskil truma. Just like one is not able to give truma to somebody that is not a Kohen. In other words, a Kohen has to be the one that eats it all the time. And one is not able to give it even as a present to a non-Kohen. So also, B'chol Inyan, Asur Afla Behema, also to a Behema. B'chol Inyan, in any time, in any situation. Isur V'lahachi Ein Lafarish B'Shabbos L'chodhu. One can't say that this is only on Shabbos. The Ka'amar, that we say this. De'eno Yachol Leha'achilam Lebehema, that one is not able to give it to a behema. Mitam De'en Kedashim Misbarim B'Shabbos. Because we can't say that this is only during the time of Shabbos, that one can give it to a behema, to an animal, to, let's say, a cow, because on Shabbos you're not able to be mevatel. You can't destroy, nullify kachim on Shabbos. Kemo b'Yom Tov, like on Yom Tov. So in other words, it's not only that reason. It's because one cannot give it to a behema. A Kohen cannot give it to a behema, it seems, according to this parish. V'sita de Perusha b'mem gimel mashma the sefer leid mutzar le'achilo leklavim. It seems that it's mashma, that it appears to be that you're able to give it leklavim, to dogs. That one can give this truma to the klavim to be mevayer it, to, instead of burning it, to give it to the klavim, to give it to the dog to eat. This is very, it's kachim, so one has to be mevayer it, one has to dispose of it very carefully because it's very holy. So in other words, there's room to say, he's saying, the parish here, that one can give it to a kelev, to a dog. It's a possibility. We can continue learning this. And even though the tahora irinon, even though in this case we're talking about where it is tahora, it's still pure. In other words, it's not tamei, it's still tahor. Oh, so that's a chiddush. That's something that we wouldn't have known, because if it's tahor, that means it has even more holiness, and one shouldn't be mevayer it in a way by giving it to a kelev, giving it to a dog. In other words, one has to really be very careful and to burn it. The betahira irina, we're talking about where it is still tahor. It's pure, ritually pure. Mikol makom my ichbas lan bekach. So therefore, what is the matter? Why do we care about it? Bekach bas biorhi. It's still something that can be nullified. In other words, when one cannot have it anymore, one has to try to dispose of it. B'diktakti b'perush Rashi, and we learned, we deduced from the Perush Rashi, Umatzasi, and we found Shekosov. It says B'zelashono. This is his language. She'eino yochol lahachilo lo lezarim v'lo lebehemas zarim. That one cannot give this to people that are not a Kohen. A Kohen is not able to give it to a Yisrael or a Levi. Whoever is not a Kohen is called a Zor. And also v'lo lebehemas zarim, and also not to the animal of a person, of a Yisrael, of a Jew that is not a Kohen, meaning a Yisrael or a Levi. V'la shahoso ulehashoso efshar v'li hashahusa efshar. Oh, we have to find out what that means. V'la shahosa. So it's really, you can't really deduce anything from this in a halachic way. We're just learning it, because to learn and to get a halacha, you have to really go to a rabbi, someone with the authority that knows this inyan, that knows this. We're just learning it right now. V'chein tzarich limud Gam beperish harav, v'hashta perish ze maskim im perusham. This agrees with the other explanation. The lael v'daf gimel the beya. Well, let's see. And it says in Beya, the Gemara Beya, Mishnah Hay. Oh, the Parak Gimel, the Beya, Mishnah Hay, Parak Gimel. That's the third parak of Beya. That's the on Yom Tov, Mishnah Hay, the fifth Mishnah. Akvar Hay Rachti. We already went in length about it. The Mishnah Gimel and Mishnah Gimel Lakayim Severasam Zos. According to their way of thinking, Zos, the truma temeya mutar lakoin lahaachilam laklavim. That truma which is tamei, truma which is impure, that one has to dispose of it. Mutar lakoin lahachila laklavim shalo the ayin sham. That a truma that which is not pure, so one cannot have that around. One has to burn it. The mutar lakohen liachilam leklavim shelo. That a kohen is able to give it to his dogs. In other words, you give it to the dog, to his dog, so he'll consume it, he'll eat it, and that will be mevayer the the truma tameya. So in other words, we're talking about truma which is tamei, truma which is not pure. Somehow it got tamei, so therefore one has to dispose of it. So a kohen can give it the truma tameya mutter lekohen liachilam leklavim. That a truma which is not pure, the kohen is able to give it to his leklavim shalo, to his dogs. In other words, not a gzor's klavim, not the dog of a Levi or Yisrael, because one cannot give it to the behemoths of somebody that is not a kohen. So in other words, the kohen has a dog, he can give it to his own dog because the dog is his possession. So in other words, the kohen is getting hano out of it, so in other words, so this is an interesting thing because it shows that that the Kohanim might have had dogs, it's a possibility, because it says from here the truma tameya mutter lekohen. It's possible for the kohen lihachilam lekalavim shalo, that it's a possibility for the kohen to give it and to feed it to his own dog. So that's an interesting thing, that the Kohanim might have had kept dogs. It's a possibility. Maybe not all of them, but maybe a couple of them. It's a possibility. So this can be asked of a historian or a rebbe. So that's an interesting thing, that it's from this piece here we learn that it's a possibility that there were a couple of Kohanim that might have had dogs, and they were able to give it to their dogs to dispose of truma tameya, of non-holy, non-kodesh truma. So this is from the sefer. This is on Psachim. This is Nun Dalid. That's page 54. Nun Dalid. And this is the sefer. Very interesting sefer. Hold on. The name of the sefer is Beis Dovid. Parish on Mishnayos, Harav Rabbeinu, and it's a parish on the Rabbeinu Avadya, Rav Yom Tov Lipman, Rav Yom Tov, and this is Beis Dovid. So this is Harav David Chaim Corinaldi, Chelik Sheni. This is the second. The Amsterdam. This is from Amsterdam. So this is that sefer. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Zayt Matzliach. A good year and a good Chodesh.